Wait. If you've been seeing 333 or hearing whispers, Archangel Michael is trying to warn you. Open before it's too late. You did not see 333 by accident. You did not hear that whisper for nothing. The realm of the spirit is not random. There is a reason your spirit has been restless. There is a reason your eyes lock onto the clock at exactly 3:33 a.m. There is a reason you wake in the silence, only to hear a whisper that no one else seems to hear. These are not coincidences. These are not tricks of the mind. They are the coded summons of heaven, written in time, wrapped in mystery, and sent straight to the soul that is being prepared. You are not imagining things. You are being alerted. For the number 3 is not just a digit. It is a divine symbol. It echoes the rhythm of heaven's perfect unity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It marks alignment. It marks completion, and it marks divine movement. And when that number triples, when it appears as 3:33, it is not just a signal. It is a summoning. Heaven is calling something into order around you. Archangel Michael, heaven's warrior and protector, now steps into your atmosphere. His sword is not drawn without cause. His whisper is not sent without instruction. If you have seen 3:33, if you have heard whispers with no speaker, then you are under divine surveillance. And the one who watches over you is not man. It is Michael, heaven's appointed guardian for this hour. This is not a word for the curious. This is not a message for the masses. This is a spiritual dispatch sent to the soul that has been stirring in the midnight hour, pacing in the silence, feeling watched, yet unseen. You have been awakened because the war has already started, and your role in it cannot be delayed. The whispers are not random. They are divine interruptions meant to train your attention. Can you remain still enough to discern the difference between paranoia and prophecy? Can you listen without panicking? Can you sense the presence of God through the disturbance of routine? If you have been seeing 3:33, if you have been hearing the hush of whispers, when the world is silent, then heaven is watching how you respond in this moment. Not everyone will hear. Not everyone was meant to. But you were. This is the beginning of a greater unveiling. You were stirred because you are chosen. You were interrupted because you are marked. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. He steps forward with sword drawn, the Archangel of War, the guardian of God's chosen, the defender of realms. Michael has entered your atmosphere. Right now, in this very moment, a shift is occurring. And it is not just around you. It is inside you. You have been sensing it. You have been feeling it. The air feels heavier, the silence feels charged, and your spirit has become more sensitive than ever. This is not a spiritual accident. This is divine timing in motion. Archangel Michael is not merely appearing. He is arriving with purpose. He is not whispering your name because you are weak. He is whispering because you are ready. There is a divine protocol unfolding around your life, and his sword is already drawn. Not to destroy, but to defend. Not to intimidate, but to interrupt what the enemy thought he could finish. And here is the divine mystery. Within the next 3 days, something will confront you. A shift, a sign, a test. And for the sensitive soul, within the next 33 hours, there will be a knowing, a spiritual download, a heavenly clarity. It may come in a dream, in a sudden decision, or even through the voice of a stranger, but you will know. Your spirit will be awakened, and you will not be able to ignore it. You've been wondering if the whispers are real. You've questioned your own senses. But listen carefully. This is not confusion. It is alignment. Heaven is not trying to scare you. It is trying to separate you. Not everyone will hear this call. Not everyone is meant to. This message belongs to those whose eyes have been opened and whose ears have been trained in the quiet places. You see, heaven doesn't shout in chaos. It whispers in stillness. And if you've been hearing whispers in the night, or waking at exactly 3:33, it's because Michael has stepped near. He is guarding a promise. He is covering a calling. And he's watching how you handle this holy moment. There's a difference between anxiety and activation. Some of what you've been feeling isn't fear, it's divine awakening. Your soul is reacting to unseen movement. Your spirit is receiving signals before your mind can understand. And Michael, the Archangel of divine warfare, is leading this activation. Heaven has not sent him without reason. He does not move unless something holy is at stake. And you, beloved, are that holy thing. Your future, your calling, your alignment. Something sacred is on the line, and Michael's presence is heaven's proof that you are not alone in this fight. Listen to the signs. Respond to the stirrings. Heaven is not casual about your life, and neither is the enemy. That's why Michael's sword is drawn. You were chosen to hear. You were chosen to see. You were chosen to stand in this moment. And heaven will not let you miss what is coming. There is an urgency in the spirit. A countdown has begun. Heaven is shifting the terrain under your feet, not to trap you, but to train you. Remain awake. Remain sensitive. Remain still. Because the next whisper you hear may not just be a sound, it may be the instruction that alters your destiny. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. They're whispering but not with words. They're watching but not with eyes. Something is moving beneath the surface of your life, and your spirit knows it. Have you noticed it? The odd tension in the air. The strange glances. The unexpected shift in someone's tone. Doors that once seemed wide open now creaking shut without explanation. Conversations that feel off. At instincts you can't ignore. It feels like something, or someone, is watching you, studying you, measuring your movements, as if preparing for something unseen. But let me make this clear. You are not paranoid. You are prophetic. The emotional unrest you've been feeling lately, that low-grade anxiety, the irritability, the heaviness in your chest, it's not random. It's not mental. It's spiritual. Heaven has activated your discernment because something in your atmosphere has shifted. People around you may not understand it. They may accuse you of being dramatic, sensitive, withdrawn. But the truth is, your spirit is ahead of your situation. You are feeling what has not yet fully arrived. Even now, you're likely picking up on the conversations others are having about you behind closed doors. Gossip wrapped in smiles. Subtle jealousy disguised as concern. Secret watchers. People who don't clap when you rise but are quick to question your every move. They sense that something in you is stirring, but they cannot name it. They cannot understand it. Because what's awakening in you was never meant for them to understand. It was meant for you to carry. It's unsettling, isn't it? The way people are shifting. The way relationships that once felt solid now feel fragile. The way trust feels dangerous. You find yourself asking, why do I feel so exposed? Why do I feel so watched when nothing obvious has changed? Here is the truth. The whispers are not just coming from the earth. They are echoes of the spirit realm. They are alerts, spiritual pings to wake your senses. The realm of the enemy has picked up on your movement. Hell is nervous. Demonic forces are sensing your elevation, your obedience, your closeness to divine alignment, and they are stirring confusion in your circle to distract your focus. But listen closely. Confusion is the last tactic the enemy uses before breakthrough. When you are closest to the unveiling, the voices get louder, the feelings get weirder, and the room begins to spin. Why? Because you are ascending, and the enemy wants to make you question what you already know in your spirit to be true. Do not fall for the trap. Not every question requires your answer. Not every whisper deserves your reaction. Some of this strange tension is spiritual smoke, sent to distract you from the fire that heaven is about to light in your life. This is not the time to fight in the flesh. This is the time to go deeper into the spirit. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them circle. Your focus is not on proving yourself. Your focus is on protecting your divine movement. Emotional disruption is proof that your next level is near. Hold your peace. Guard your spirit. Stay low before God. And let the watchers watch, because what they see next, they will not be able to deny. Type I receive the warning in the comments. Blessing code 333 has just entered your atmosphere. Before we continue, hear this in your spirit. When you sow into a word, you activate its power over your life. This isn't just about a video. This is a prophetic call to help light the path for others. Every whisper you've heard, someone else is hearing too, but they don't know what it means yet. Your support unlocks revelation for the next soul that feels lost in the dark. This is holy ground. When you give, you sow into heavenly fire, and that fire spreads. Isaiah 60:1 doesn't whisper, it commands, rise, shine, for your light has come. As you help this message reach others, you become the spark that ignites their awakening. I feel led to say this. Someone's deliverance is tied to your obedience. Whether it's through a super thanks, a channel membership, or a PayPal seed link in the description, your giving is not a donation. It's a divine transaction. It multiplies the reach of the word. Release the seed. Reap the shift. Step into the overflow. Sow now, and watch the fire fall. What you're feeling is not chaos. It's not confusion. It's the atmosphere of a battlefield. And whether you knew it or not, you've already stepped into it. There comes a moment when heaven no longer waits for your permission. When the battle around your life escalates without your approval, because the call over you has become too loud to ignore. That's where you are now. The reason the whispers won't stop, the reason the number 333 continues to press into your mind is because the realm of the spirit is no longer silent about your destiny. This is not random. This is not superstition. This is spiritual warfare, cloaked in quiet signs, wrapped in subtle timings. Heaven is speaking to the ones who can hear, the ones who can discern, the ones who will not brush this off as mere coincidence. The number 3 has always been God's stamp of divine structure: Father, Son, Spirit. It represents fullness, oblivion, power. But when heaven begins to show it to you in triple form, 333, it is no longer just a number. It becomes a divine alert system, a confirmation that what is happening around you is deeper than the eye can see. The whispers in the atmosphere, the weight in your chest, the unease in your relationships, it is all part of a coordinated spiritual response. And what is the source? The moment you were marked by heaven, hell noticed. The enemy does not waste strategy on the average. The whispers around you, the strange behavior, the emotional tension, the abrupt resistance, it is not merely life being difficult. It is spiritual agitation. You are a walking disruption to hell's old blueprint. And now, the whispers are confirmation that you've become a threat. But listen closely. The whispers are not just warnings. They are tests of awareness. Will you react in fear or respond in discernment? Will you lash out in frustration or pull back into prayer? Will you collapse under pressure, or will you recognize that heaven is allowing this moment to test your obedience in silence? Because heaven is watching closely. Archangel Michael does not step forward in every battle. He is not sent to every soul. But when he arrives, it is because the war around you is no longer common. It is elevated. It is strategic. It is sacred. And now, he stands near, not waiting for you to scream, but watching how you respond in stillness. The battle is not external. It's internal. Your mind is being tested. Your discipline is being tested. Your ability to remain silent when falsely accused, your willingness to trust when you feel isolated, your commitment to the assignment even when clarity is clouded, all of this is being measured. Heaven has already declared you chosen. Now the spirit realm watches to see if your behavior aligns with what heaven has already said. The whispers are not meant to break you. They are meant to awaken you, to remind you that the war you're in is not just about pain. It's about positioning. It's about keeping you aligned with what has already been spoken over your life. And listen carefully. Silence is not weakness in this moment. Silence is strategy. Silence is safety. Silence is where angels fight best on your behalf. You are not losing. You are being observed. And your next victory is not tied to how loud you speak, but how deeply you trust. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them move around you like shadows. You just stay aligned. You stay guarded. You stay hidden in the presence of God, and let Michael do what he was sent to do. Type "I choose silence" in the comments if you're ready to stay aligned. Blessing code 717 is covering your name. Do not mistake the quiet for peace. The silence before the storm is always the loudest moment in the spirit. And right now, heaven is issuing a warning before the confrontation begins. There is a shift rising in your atmosphere, and it is not a shift you can afford to ignore. You have felt the tremors. The air has thickened. The patterns have been disrupted. What once flowed smoothly now stutters. What once felt certain now feels unsure. And in the midst of all this, the divine clock has started ticking. Because in the unseen realm, something has already been set in motion. Heaven is sounding the alarm. Prepare, for within 72 hours, pressure will rise. Within 3 days, hidden things will surface. This is not an empty warning. This is the prelude to confrontation. And the signs are already gathering like clouds before a storm. Subtly, people will begin to act strangely. Conversations will turn. Unexpected calls, surprise messages, old voices from seasons long ago will reappear. And with them questions, confusion, misdirection. But this is not chaos. This is revelation disguised as deception. Heaven is allowing the pressure to rise because the truth that's been hidden must come to the surface. And you, chosen one, must be spiritually alert to perceive it. Do not be distracted by the drama. Do not be seduced by the noise. There is something more dangerous than what is being said, and it is what is being planned in silence. The confrontation is not just verbal. It is strategic. It is spiritual. Somewhere, quietly, discreetly, someone is preparing a move against you. It may not be obvious. It may come through an indirect conversation, a sudden opportunity that feels too rushed, or even a subtle betrayal. But the moment will come, and you must be ready. The appearance of 333 is not just a spiritual wink from heaven. It is a coded dispatch, a pre-battle signal, a divine nudge saying, "Wake up." What to? Wait. The whisper you heard in the dark wasn't meant to soothe you. It was meant to signal you. It was Michael's voice, carried through the wind of the Spirit, preparing you for what is about to unfold. You will feel it before you see it. You will know it before it happens. Because heaven never lets a chosen one be ambushed without first giving them spiritual insight. That strange stirring in your belly, that instinct to pull back from certain people, that urge to stay silent when provoked, those are not random. Those are tactical instructions from the heavenly realm, and they must be obeyed. The enemy thinks you are vulnerable, but he doesn't know that Michael has drawn his sword. The watchers think you are asleep, but they don't know that your spirit has already seen what's coming. They think their plans are hidden, but heaven has already begun to unravel their schemes. And now, here is your divine assignment. Do not react. Do not defend. Do not rush. Heaven's timing is surgical. It exposes what needs to be revealed at the exact moment it needs to be seen. Your job is not to control the outcome. Your job is to stay aligned while heaven orchestrates the exposure. Yes, confrontation is coming. Yes, pressure will rise. Yes, you will feel the weight. But this is not punishment. This is positioning. The confrontation is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal who you are under fire. It's meant to confirm what heaven already knows about you. Hold your posture. Trust your discernment. The storm is not sent to shake you. It's sent to shake everything around you until only what's divine remains standing. Stay alert. Stay still. Because in 72 hours, you will understand why heaven started whispering your name at 3:33. Type "I will be ready" in the comments if your spirit receives this warning. Blessing code 303 is watching over your next 3 days. Heaven does not just warn you. Heaven hides you. The whispers you've been hearing were not just alerts. They were instructions. And now, Archangel Michael is positioning you in silence for divine protection. You must understand, this is not the time to speak. This is not the time to explain. This is not the time to defend your name, prove your point, or retaliate with your own version of the story. The battleground is not in your words. The victory will not be won in your volume. The safest place for you right now is silence. Yes, silence. That sacred hush where God moves without interference. Where angels war without human noise. Where your stillness becomes the sanctuary for divine instruction. Heaven is calling you into strategic quiet. Not because you are weak, but because you are too valuable to waste your strength on unnecessary battles. The whispers you heard were not just meant to stir you emotionally, they were sent to discipline your spirit. Heaven is testing how well you can hold your posture when everything in your flesh wants to respond. But listen carefully. Your silence is your armor. Your silence is your protection. And in this moment, your silence is your most powerful act of spiritual warfare. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword not for display, but for defense. He is guarding the path ahead of you. He is standing between you and what was sent to destroy you. But he can only fight in an atmosphere of surrender. If you try to fight this in your own strength, through words, through reactions, through arguments, you will step out of alignment, and the covering will shift. Do not step out. Stay under. Stay covered. Withdraw does not mean defeat. It means wisdom. Pulling back is not retreat. It is repositioning. You are not hiding from the enemy. You are hiding in God. You are being preserved, not punished. You are being kept, not cast aside. Michael's wings are not ornaments, they are shields. His presence is not poetic, it is protective. This is the hour of divine insulation. The fire around you is real. The tension is rising. The atmosphere is being stirred. But you are not called to put out the fire. You are called to walk through it without being touched. And you can only do that if you move in silence and trust the divine strategy. Let the gossip swirl. Let the voices rise. Let the schemes unfold. You do not have to answer what God has already addressed. You do not have to fight what Michael has already neutralized. You do not have to chase after what was never assigned to your destiny. This is not your burden to carry. It is heaven's war, and heaven has already chosen its champion. And the instruction remains clear. Do not rush. Do not speak. Do not retaliate. Wait. Watch it. Pray. Stay hidden. Because in this stillness, heaven is doing something you cannot yet see. In your silence, heaven is writing a verdict you have not yet heard. In your obedience, heaven is releasing protection you have not yet felt. The battle is not over, but the outcome is already secured. As long as you remain aligned, as long as you do not step outside of divine instruction, as long as you let Michael war while you rest. So be still. Be silent. Be guarded. Because heaven is moving faster than the enemy ever anticipated. And when it's over, they will wonder how you made it through untouched. Type "I will stay hidden" in the comments if you receive this instruction. Blessing code 808 is now your shield. You are not being broken. You were being built. You were not losing. You were being lifted. What they called weakness, heaven called refinement. And now, your silence has become strength. Something within you has already shifted. And though you may not fully see it yet, the evidence is in the way you've stopped explaining yourself. The proof is in the way you now protect your peace instead of arguing to be understood. You are no longer desperate to be heard by people who were never assigned to your elevation. You are no longer seeking validation in places God has already called you to exit. What happened in the last season was not an attack. It was a divine transformation in disguise. You are not who you were, and heaven has made sure of it. When you began seeing 333, when you started hearing whispers no one else could hear, the world assumed you were falling apart. But in the silence, you were being rearranged. In the darkness, your vision was being sharpened. The pressure was not your punishment, it was your proving ground. You were being formed into a vessel that could carry glory. You were being trained to recognize what most ignore. And now, heaven declares over you, you are rising. No longer the victim. No longer the overlooked. No longer the silenced. Now, you are walking in the strength of the very stillness that once made you feel small. The whispers were never meant to torment you. They were divine drills for your discernment. You've been trained to hear what others miss. You've been taught to wait when others rush. You've been conditioned to see beyond appearances, and this has made you dangerous to darkness. Archangel Michael did not draw his sword to defend the weak. He drew it to reveal the one who had endured enough to be trusted with elevation. You are the one rising from the fire. You are the one stretching your wings like an eagle, soaring above the noise. You are the one being purified like gold in the furnace, prepared for divine appointment. And now, the authority that was once hidden inside you is beginning to emerge. You are no longer intimidated by shadows. You are no longer thrown by closed doors. What used to shake you now simply confirms. Heaven is clearing the path. This is not just your comeback. This is your commissioning. You have endured the whispers. You have survived the stillness. You have waited in the silence while heaven warred on your behalf. And now, you emerge not just stronger, but more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness than ever before. You are a weapon of obedience, a vessel of fire, a carrier of divine clarity. This is your shift. This is the hour where heaven doesn't just protect you, it releases you. Not to survive, not to hide, but to walk boldly in what has been spoken over your life since before you were even formed in the womb. Let them wonder what happened. Let them question the blow. Let them feel the heat of your presence and not know how to name it. Because the one who was once quiet is now walking with divine fire. The one who once watched in silence is now rising in holy strength. You are not who you were, and heaven will use you in ways they never expected. Type "I am rising" in the comments if this is your moment. Blessing code 929 has been activated for your next elevation. This shaking was never punishment. It was permission. Heaven allowed the breaking to unlock what could not be birthed in comfort. And now, the prophecy over your life begins to unfold. You have wondered why it had to happen this way. You have questioned the midnight wrestlings, the silence, the whispers, the restless awakenings at 3:33. You have asked yourself, did I miss it? Did I make a wrong turn? But I speak to you now, not from opinion, but from revelation. Heaven allowed the pressure so it could produce your next dimension. The whisper you heard in the dark was not just a voice, it was a prophetic release. It was the sound of an ancient scroll being opened in the spirit with your name on it. And everything you've endured since then, the confusion, The emotional shifts, the distancing of certain people, the unusual timing of attacks, it has all been part of a divine unveiling. You are not being punished. You are being revealed. This moment is not about what you lost. It's about what's been waiting to emerge. The divine realm is pulling back the veil over your life and declaring, this one is ready. Ready to walk in clarity. Ready to see beyond the surface. Ready to be trusted with weight. Not just glory, but responsibility. And the signs confirm it. The patterns confirm it. Even your pain confirms it. You could not have survived what you did if heaven had not already marked you for something bigger than comfort. And here is the prophetic truth. You are standing at the threshold of release. There is elevation on the other side of this silence. There is favor on the other side of the whispers. There is a blessing waiting in the place you were once broken. The season of obscurity was not a rejection. It was a cocoon. And now, the shell is cracking. The moment is shifting. Heaven is calling you into the light. Yes, there will still be battles, but now you know who you are in the spirit. Yes, there will still be whispers, but now you know how to interpret them. Yes, there will still be watchers, but now you carry the confidence of one who hath been refined. This is not your fall. This is your formation. This is the divine moment when what was hidden becomes visible, when what was whispered becomes shouted in the heavenlies. The enemy hoped you would collapse in the confusion. He hoped the 333 encounters would wear you out. He hoped the silence would weaken you. But what the enemy didn't know was this. Every whisper was an activation. Every still moment was a setup. Every delay was divine positioning. You are not behind. You are exactly where heaven needs you to be. And now the gate is opening. And now the record is being read. Now the prophecy is being fulfilled. You were called. You were chosen. And now, you are being commissioned. Your name hath been written in the archives of heaven. Not in ink, but in fire. Not in theory, but in eternal design. The whispers were just the sound of heaven reading your scroll aloud to the angelic realm. And the time has come for what was hidden to be seen. Type I receive my release in the comments if this is your prophetic moment. Blessing code 4444 is sealing your elevation. As this revelation is released, listen closely, because this is not just about you. It's about those still lost in the whispers, still tormented by the unknown, still waking at 3:33 and wondering why. When you support this mission, you're not donating to a channel. You're sowing into deliverance. You're funding awakening. You're spreading fire. Heaven has trusted this message to reach the chosen, and you can be the bridge that brings it to them. Give, and it shall be given to you. This isn't just a verse. It's a living promise. Your seed becomes light to someone's confusion. Your giving becomes oil in someone's empty jar. Your obedience becomes a divine lifeline. I believe this. Someone's breakthrough is tied to your generosity. Whether through a super thanks, a channel membership, or a PayPal seed link in the description, every act of support becomes a spiritual echo that carries this word deeper into the earth. Step into the river of giving and watch the heavens respond. Heaven has whispered. The numbers have appeared. The warnings have been given. And now, the scroll of your purpose is open. This is your moment of divine activation. You have lingered long enough in the waiting room of uncertainty. You have stood at the edge of the promise, hesitant to fully step in, not because you lacked faith, but because you didn't yet realize that the whispers were not delays. They were instructions. They were alignments. They were sacred blueprints revealing your path. And now the wind of the Spirit is saying, move. This is not the time to stall. This is not the hour for second guessing. What was once concealed in mystery is now becoming clear. You have been chosen not just to hear, not just to endure, but to act. Destiny is not an idea. It is a command. And heaven is waiting for your yes. Not your casual yes. Not your comfortable yes. Your surrendered yes. The kind that shakes every stronghold around your life. The kind that unlocks doors no man can shut. The kind that causes angels to be dispatched on your behalf. You must declare it out loud. You must align your words with what heaven already knows about you. There is power in your agreement. There is authority in your surrender. Your destiny has been calling you from the shadows. It has followed you in every delay. It has whispered through every number, every moment of silence, every 3:33 wake-up call. And now, it demands a response. Say yes, and the heavens will open. Say yes, and Michael's sword will make room. Say yes, and what resisted you in the last season will be forced to release its grip. But this is not just about spiritual language. This is about spiritual alignment. You cannot walk into this next season casually. You must step boldly. You must speak with conviction. You must pray like the promise already exists. You must move like the oil is already flowing. Because heaven doesn't hesitate. Heaven moves when you move. The angelic realm responds to obedience, not hesitation. And the realm of darkness only respects those who know who they are. You have been hidden long enough. You have been processed long enough. Now is the moment when you go from hidden potential to divine power. Open your mouth and speak it. I am chosen. I am rising. I am aligned. Break the silence with faith. Announce your identity with fire. Heaven is waiting for you to activate what has already been assigned. And hear this in your spirit. Not everything is going to feel ready. Not everyone is going to understand your next move. But obedience doesn't wait for consensus. Purpose doesn't require permission. If you wait for confirmation from people who weren't called, you'll miss what heaven already revealed. This is not just your yes. This is your release. This is your alignment. This is your destiny unlocking in real time. You've walked through the fire. You've listened through the silence. You've endured the whispers. And now heaven is saying, rise and walk in it. The waiting season is over. The proving season is ending. The prophetic moment has arrived. Speak it. Declare it. Move in it. This is your rising. This is your yes. This is your moment. Type my yes is now in the comments if your spirit agrees. Blessing code 522 is unlocking scrolls over your life. While you were sleeping, heaven was recording. While you were weeping, angels were writing. While you were questioning, the spirit realm was transacting in your name. This is the mystery of the silent exchange. There are moments when nothing in the natural makes sense, when your prayers seem to echo back at you, when your obedience is met with resistance, when your silence feels like abandonment. But in the silence, something was happening. You couldn't see it. You couldn't feel it. But heaven was moving. While you were awake at 3:33, whispering prayers in the dark, the throne room was not asleep. The scrolls were not still. The angelic realm was not idle. You must understand this. There are exchanges happening in the spirit realm that do not make noise in the earth. What was stolen from you is being bartered back with interest. What was hidden from you is being written back into your destiny with fire. And what was delayed is now being returned in multiplied form. Your tears were not wasted. Every groan of confusion, every restless night, every unanswered question, it was a language only heaven could interpret. And while the world around you thought you were doing nothing, you were being recorded. Your silence was louder in the spirit than any shout in the flesh. Your restraint was seen. Your obedience was marked. And now, the scales are tipping. Heaven has always worked in quiet precision. The earth expects drama, but heaven favors discipline. And that's what you've shown. While others rushed to be seen, you stayed hidden. While others chased approval, you sought alignment. While others panicked in the noise, you listened in the stillness. And that is why Michael was assigned to you. Because not everyone can carry what you carry. Not everyone can be trusted with silence and still stay faithful. And now, the trade has begun. The enemy thought your surrender meant weakness, but it was actually the exact posture heaven needed for your restitution. What was taken from you in the last season, peace, joy, clarity, even opportunities, is being summoned back by divine decree. And it will not return empty. It will return doubled, restored, and secured. The whispers were never random. They were transaction alerts. They were spiritual notifications from realms unseen. They were heaven's way of saying, something is being signed in your name. Stay still. Stay ready. And you obeyed. You stayed in position. You held the line. And now, what was agreed upon in the spirit is about to manifest in the natural. You may not know the exact moment it happens. You may not see the angel descend. But mark this. In the next few days, you will begin to feel a lifting, a shift, a strange peace that surpasses logic, that will be the evidence that the exchange has occurred. The dreams will return. The clarity will sharpen. The favor will chase you. And the whispers will quiet, not because heaven has stopped speaking, but because the transaction is complete. You are not being ignored. You are being rewarded in silence. And what you thought was a delay has only been the setup for the most sacred exchange of your life. The spirit realm has moved. And it has moved in your favor. Type "the exchange is mine" in the comments if you receive this revelation. Blessing code 1001 has been dispatched on your behalf. You were not abandoned. You were being observed. You were not overlooked. You were being documented. And now, the courts of heaven have spoken, justice is being released, and reversal has begun. The whisper you heard was not just a warning, it was a witness. It was the voice of the Spirit marking the shift in the courtroom of heaven. The cry that left your mouth in the midnight hour did not fall into empty air. It echoed through eternity. And the one who sits on the throne has rendered his judgment. Divine justice is in motion. For every moment you were falsely judged, for every time they gossiped while you held your peace, for every door slammed in your face while you still chose to bless and not curse, Heaven was watching. For every betrayal you endured in silence, for every false accusation that went unanswered, for every hand that turned cold against you, it was not missed. Heaven saw it all. And not only did heaven see, heaven kept score. This is the hour where the divine reversal begins. Everything spoken against you in darkness is now being brought to light. The scales are tipping. The judgments that were made against you in error are being overturned in truth. And while man thought they had the final word, the gavel now drops in the spirit, and it drops in your favor. The enemy hoped you would react. He wanted you to retaliate. He needed you to break rank, to step out of alignment, to fight fire with fire. But you didn't. You trusted the process. You remained under the blood. You let Michael war in silence. And because you kept your mouth shut, heaven has opened its mouth on your behalf. Hear this in your spirit. What was done against you will circle back, not to haunt you, but to honor you. The people who moved against you will now watch God move for you. Those who dismissed you will now have to witness your rising. Not because you fought back, but because you stayed positioned. You stayed obedient. You stayed faithful even when it didn't make sense. There is vindication coming to your name. There is restoration coming to your reputation. There is acceleration coming to your path. And it will not be subtle. It will not be hidden. It will be a public display of heaven's loyalty to the one who stayed loyal in the dark. You are not stepping into blessing by accident. You are stepping into divine repayment. God is not just giving you back what you lost. He is giving you what they tried to withhold. You are not just receiving favor. You are receiving justice. And justice in the kingdom of God is not merely fairness. It is divine reversal with interest. The whispers you heard were clues. They were early signs of this reversal. They were heaven's way of alerting your spirit to stay ready, because the reversal wouldn't begin with an announcement. It would begin with an action. And now that action is underway. The enemies of your destiny are being scattered. The lies are being reversed. The schemes are being dismantled, and the blessing is being loosed. You are about to walk in rooms you were once pushed out of. You are about to wear the robe of favor they said you'd never touch. You are about to stand in the very place they said you'd never reach. And when you do not gloat. Do not mock. Do not repay evil with evil. Stand in humility. Stand in purity. Because you didn't fight for this, heaven handed it to you. The war has turned. The justice has begun. And the reversal is unstoppable. Type "justice is falling for me" in the comments if this word touches your spirit. Blessing code 911 is commanding divine reversal. You are not here by accident. You didn't wake at 3:33 by mistake. You didn't hear those whispers without meaning. You were summoned. You were stirred. And now, you are sealed. From the moment heaven began to press that number into your spirit from the first whisper that pierced your midnight silence, this was never just about numbers and sounds. This was about divine alignment. It was about spiritual urgency. Archangel Michael did not appear in your atmosphere to entertain you. He came to warn, to guard, and to guide. You were not simply visited, you were marked. You've walked through the message. You've endured the silence. You've heard the call, responded to the warnings, and now you stand in a moment of holy closure. But this is not an ending. This is an activation. This is the moment where heaven says, you are seen, you are sealed, you are sent. The 333 you've been seeing was never just a number. It was a time code, a divine cipher that marked the season when heaven would open your ears, stir your discernment, and call you into a level of awareness you had not walked in before. And the whispers, they were not confusion. They were not hallucination. They were not paranoia. They were summonses sent to the one sensitive enough to feel when the wind of heaven shifts. You were chosen because you listened. You were kept because you stayed still. You were protected because you aligned. And now, as the message comes to its divine conclusion, there is a fresh decree being written over your name. The angels that stood guard in your silence now carry scrolls of assignment. What was once just protection is now preparation for purpose. Archangel Michael, heaven's enforcer, has not left. He remains stationed at your side, not in warning now, but in covering. His sword is still drawn, not just to shield you from warfare, but to cut open paths where there seemed to be no way. His wings are not just covering your steps, they are shielding the very doors heaven is about to swing wide. You may not fully understand everything you've felt, but your obedience has already spoken louder than your questions. Your stillness has already been louder than your shout. And now the Spirit of God seals this moment over your life. Let this be the final word in your spirit. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are chosen. You are rising with fire in your eyes, purpose in your feet, and angels at your side. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. Type I am sent in the comments if you receive this final affirmation. Blessing code 1212 has now been released upon your next assignment. Before this message ends, listen with your heart. What heaven just released over you is too valuable to keep hidden. Every whisper you've decoded, every warning you've received, someone else is still searching for that clarity. When you support this prophetic ministry, you're not just helping content, you're fueling callings, unlocking destinies, and lighting torches in the dark. God says in Malachi 3:10, "Bring the whole tithe and see if I will not open the windows of heaven." When you give, you're not making a donation, you're making a demand on heaven. You're activating a window. You're sending seed into the spirit realm that will reap breakthrough for others and overflow for you. I speak boldly. Your giving is a prophetic act. It marks you as a kingdom builder. It aligns you with divine flow. It places oil in your jar for what comes next. You can partner through a super thanks, join our channel membership, or sow through PayPal, link in the video description. Every seed has an assignment. Every gift carries glory. Let your support become a signal that you heard the whisper and you're answering the call.